Let me undo this right here. There we go. So, I was watching Elliott Smith. I know he's passed away. I think he heard of me in Texas because he said, I don't think of it anything but as shapes, talking about the guitar. And I used to say that before I was really anything. And I had a friend that probably spread that information because I didn't say anything about, oh, I go by chords, like a chord. I went by shape. I went by the direction of what I could get away with. So I heard him say that, and I don't think he came up with that. I came up with that. Now, Elliott Smith was more skillful than I was. I'll give that to him. But I was just trying to get away with something. So when I talk about what I can get away with, I'll tell you what I'm talking about. And also, what he was talking about was he thought of things as in shapes, right? So a C note was a shape, right? With me, it was direction. So I started off one of my songs, right? His Pizzala was, right? All I was trying to do when I was younger, and this was just, it wasn't even really a name on a song. It was just something to get away with on the guitar. What I could get away with. That's all I was trying to do. And it was this. Right? I was just trying to get away with something. Shape did make sense. So when I started it, it went like this. I can barely do it now. Right? So when I came up with that riff, which has no title, it's not used in any of my songs. It may have been something that was coming after just doing, right, scales, a form of just messing around with scales. It was just like a thought, like a doodle, okay? When Elliott Smith was talking about, oh, it's the shape of how I put things together in one of his interviews, I used to say the exact same thing. It was about direction of all the chords and putting them all together. So this is a direction. That comes from another song, right? That is just me trying to get away with something. It's not because I understand it. Okay, so the one that I was working on tonight, right? Which actually I wrote down in my journal because my phone will shut off in the middle of it, right? This one that I recorded on SoundCloud tonight, which was lyrics to Why Won't My Shit Sell, or My Ship Sell, right? I was just trying to get away with something. I wasn't really trying to write a song, but it became a song, right? So the first part of it, I'm just trying to get away with that as part of the song. But it is about direction of how it goes together, just like a jigsaw puzzle, okay? Also, I can use the top string here, or these last three strings to start off in the beginning. And also, this goes back to like the 70s, right? That probably is Crosby, Stills and Nash, something similar that I'm hearing that I like, that right there. I heard my dad play those kinds of things too. Those types of, right? And that's part of Why Won't My Ship Sail? It probably starts with that one. And then it goes into the riff, right? He says that he doesn't think about riffs. I know Elliott Smith was lying. He does think about riffs. The whole thing about 245. That's a riff, okay? So he wasn't always telling the truth. It's sad that he stuck a knife twice into his heart. I wish he wouldn't have done that. But anyway, this one... is the first part of Why Won't My Ship Sail? Elliott he wasn't as quick as I was. He wasn't as quick, okay? But he did have an incredible ability to do a lot of methamphetamine and get all this tweaked stuff out that I will never be able to do, especially like Los Angeles. And Los Angeles was half strummed, or no, Angeles was half strummed. And then it was half picked, right? But there were certain things that he could do that I can't do. And there's certain things I can do that he can't do. Well, most everything now since he's dead. And it has a little bit of that Crosby, Stills sound going into this. I know I'm mean. And then bass. Only I'm just trying to get away with it. That's all I'm trying to do. And then we go into the strumming. It's not easy to do. I may not always play that. Why won't the ship sail? And I'm tired of this lonely hill. I'm tired of this lovely hell. I'm the flashing light, I'm the flashing light behind me. of this lonely hill. I'm tired of this lovely hell. I'm the flashing light behind me. It's a little like Flew Over. Almost exactly the same, almost. A little bit different. Why won't the ship sail? I'm tired of this lonely hill. I'm tired of this lonely hell. Why won't my shit sell? Sit in your recliner, watch your cable. Sit in your recliner, die, 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 die. The demon says to grow up. 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 I can hear you say that I'm embarrassing myself. The demon says to grow up. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at that. Who gives a fuck? You fucking bitch. You're rotten hell. You take your camera and your perfect lights and you rotten hell. You rotten hell. I'm the flashing light behind me, a glistening lake beside me. Why won't this ship sail? Why won't my ship sail? Why won't the ship sail? I'm tired of this lonely hill. I'm tired of this lovely hell. The flashing light behind me, a glistening lake beside me. Why won't the ship sail? Oh, you're so embarrassing, right? A flashing light behind me, I'm the glistening lake beside me. Why won't the ship sail? Why won't my shit sell? We're getting there. Sit in your recliner and die. Sit in your recliner and watch a cable and die. Says, yeah, I can hear. The demon says to grow up. 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 The demon says to grow up, yeah. grow up. The demon says to grow up. Why won't the ship sail? I'm tired of this lonely hill. I'm tired of this lovely hell. And I'm the flashing light behind me, a glistening lake beside me. Why won't the ship sail? I'm tired of this lonely hill. Sit in your recliner and watch a cable. Sit in your recliner and die, 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 die. The demon says to grow up. The demon says to grow up. The demon says to grow up, yeah. The demon says to grow up. Oh, how embarrassing that is. The demon says to grow up. 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 Why won't my shit sail? Why won't my shit sail? Now it's your turn.